Hello everyone, welcome you back to our channel. This is Ego Mindset at the back. So we are continuing with our topic 1953 to 1955 Kabaka Crisis, and we are with Council Kelly again. Council, introduce yourself.
Thank you very much for hosting me here. Um, Once again, Council Kelly Martin. Yes, and I shall be taking you through the Kabaka Crisis. And also, before I go any further, allow me to thank you for watching Legal Mindset at the Bar. You're doing a great job. Thank you.
Maybe to remind you about the background, we have a background, we have a video about the background. So in this one, we are going to look at about the causes and the implications, the effects. So, Council, let us list the causes of the 1953 to 1950 Kabaka crisis.
To hint on the causes of the 1953 Kabaka Crisis, I must say include the rise of ambitious leaders like Kangave Msazi. There is the radical character of Sir Andrew Cohen and the persistent character of Sir Edward Mutesa II. Yeah, I must say there was another cause is the birth of the political parties like DP, KY, and also the controversial opinions of the Kabaka and Cohen, as well as the speech made by Oliver Layton.
We can also add Uganda's secessionist attempts, which contradicted with Cohen's ideas, the arrest and exile of the Kabaka to UK.
Yes.
We can also talk about the 30th November 1953 letter by Cohen to Kabaka.
Yes.
It was like an ultimatum for the Kabaka to change his ideas. Yeah, so I'm going to beg you to take us through some key causes. Maybe help us and explain Oliver Layton's speech. How did it lead to the Kabaka crisis?
Oliver Layton's speech, as I explained previously, who Oliver Layton was. Oliver Layton made a speech. It was a speech. It was a suggestion. It was a suggestion, but in a speech. But since he had more authority than the governor himself, it was taken to be an actual directive. So Oliver Layton made a statement that the East African territories were to be merged into one British territory.
The East African Federation.
Yes, the East African Federation. And with that East African Federation, as we've seen that it was about bringing the territories of East Africa, that is to say Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania, under one supreme colonial leader who was Britain at the time. So this conflicted with the opinions of the Kabaka, who was advocating for Buganda's autonomy. So having advocated for Buganda's autonomy, he wanted Buganda to be a separate colony of itself. So having wanted Buganda to be a separate colony of itself, it conflicted with the instructions that Sir Andrew Cohen came with. And that is why it caused the Kabaka crisis of 1953, which led to the Kabaka's deportation later.
Thank you very much, Council. On the grudge of the Kabaka, Edward Mutesa II, with Andrew Cohen, there are some events that happened. Andrew Cohen started issuing ultimatums to the Kabaka to change his behaviors.
Yes.
How did that lead to the Kabaka crisis? Kabaka's radicalism and the Cohen's radicalism, both men,
yes,
were not That's to joke with.
Yes, the two men had a different, I would say, I would say,
Continue, Council.
I would say they were men of their own characters, the same way you see us here. So presumably that you are Kabaka and I am Cohen. Kabaka, what the Kabaka said was final, as it is in Buganda's traditions, that what the Kabaka says is final. And even Cohen, having been a servant of the British, of the colonial government, he was working on instructions. And him, as an individual, he was a radical personnel who's, since he was working for the British colony, and having belonged to the Labour Party and all that, from the onset, him and the entire party as well were working for self-governance. The only language they would understand was decolonization. So he was, even when Cohen came to Uganda, he was advocating for decolonization. But the Kabaka, I would say, he misunderstood the decolonization for loss of power. So when Cohen introduced the instructions that he came with here, the Kabaka saw it as a form of losing his autonomy. Yes.
Yeah, so we see other causes. Let us polish them. The rise of political parties also led to the Kabaka Crisis. You light us on the examples of those political parties, maybe even one.
The political parties that rose at that time were Uganda National Congress, which was formed by Ignatius Kangave Musazi in the year 1952. And the formation of that political party was to foster development, political development in Uganda. Many will say that, or some books say that UNC was formed in 1954. But that is also important because UNC rose to popularity while demanding for the return of the Kabaka. So many would say that UNC was formed in 1954 because it was demanding for the Kabaka's return. But in actual sense, UNC was formed in 1952 by a young man called Ignatius Kangave Musazi. After that, we have KY, Kabaka Yeka, which was formed in 1955, and also the Democratic Party, DP, which was formed in 1955 as well.
So we see other causes. The Kabaka's desire to revise the 1900 Buganda Agreement. Remember, the Kabaka hated that agreement because it undermined his powers. So, Council, let us now look at the consequences of the Kabaka Crisis, 1953 to 1955. We have been discussing them, the political parties, the deportation of Kabaka. You give us a word on the consequences. What should they know? What should our viewers know about the consequences of the 1953 Kabaka Crisis?
Yes, thank you very much. Briefly, before I come to the consequences, allow me to drop you back briefly to the issue of the political parties. That when these political parties were formed, their intention was to foster nationalism. Yes, to foster nationalism. So when the gospel of nationalism spread in Buganda, the people of Buganda got enlightened about what democracy can do. Yes, and I would say that with that, when you go to the part of the consequences, it was the same gospel that was preached by these political parties that actually helped to demand for the return of the Kabaka.
Yeah.
Yes. Moving on to another consequence, I would say it was the signing of the 1955 Namirembe Agreement. Yes, and the signing of that agreement was signed in 1955 between Sir Keith Hancock on behalf of the Crown, and also Kabaka Mutesa II on behalf of the Buganda government in 1955. But you should note that that was when the Kabaka had been brought back. Yes. So that agreement, yes, that agreement was, yes, I think that's what I was about.
So I see. After the Kabaka crisis, you have said many political parties were formed, the KY, Kabaka Ika,
Yes,
but even Africanization started. Enlighten the viewers, Africanization, how did it start after the Kabaka crisis?
How did it start after the Kabaka crisis? I must say that the Africanization, as if I may explain what Africanization was, it was the involvement of natives into their own politics. So how this Kabaka crisis led to the rise of Africanization was that when the Kabaka came back later on in 1955, in the agreement I've talked in the preceding statements, that agreement called for the Kabaka to consent to the reforms that Cohen was trying to implement at that time, and him having to declare his consent meant that Buganda would be bound by the terms of that agreement. That same scenario is what later led to the case of Katikkiro of Buganda versus Attorney General in the year 1959. It was that case that, yeah, in that case the Kabaka, the Katikkiro was trying to challenge the provisions of the Namirembe Agreement, that the British government ought to have acted within the terms of that agreement while getting nominations to the Legislative Council. Yes, that is the whole gist of that case, and I kindly implore our viewers to go and read that case in detail.
So, yes. Council, let me mention another consequence, because we see after the Kabaka crisis,
yes,
there was introduction of militarism and radicalism in Uganda's politics.
Yes.
Because we see during the course of the Kabaka crisis,
yes,
the protectorate put troops at the Kabaka's palace. Did that influence Uganda's politics? Did it enlighten Ugandans, Baganda?
I would say it influenced Uganda's politics, but I would only put that to a very less importance, to the effect that it only introduced the aspect of authoritarianism or tyrannism in Uganda. That when the Kabaka, when Cohen deployed forces, when Cohen deployed forces to go and surround the Kabaka, which later on led to his deportation, we see that coming up as a consistent action where the central government has had conflicts with the Kabaka, that even at that point, having deployed those forces, Obote, when he came to power, he borrowed the same knowledge.
Yes.
He borrowed the same knowledge and attacked the
Kabaka,
in the 1966 crisis.
Yes.
Which is exactly
he copied the trick.
Yes, he copied the trick, which is exactly the same thing our dear president using recently when he attacked the Rwenzori kingdom.
Yeah.
So it has become a trend of recent.
Thank you very much, Council, for that deep knowledge you're giving us. I thank you for honoring our invitation, and I think the viewers have had something good today. This is Legal Mindset at the Bar. Tell the viewers to subscribe to our channel.
Hello, our dear viewers. Thank you for watching, and I should really make this bold and clear that by watching this, you are making a very great service to your academic journey. And I kindly implore you all to keep watching our channel, Legal Mindset at the Bar, and let us save the semesters together. Yes.
Thank you very much, Council.